Hi, Mr. Baker. My name is Jose Velasquez, and my speech today will be about emotional management. I want you to visualize a situation. Your younger sibling stabbed to death. You receive a phone call from the hospital, and they're calling to inform you your younger sibling was stabbed to death by his classmate. Your younger sibling harassed him. He decided to get revenge and grabbed a blade and stabbed him to death. Now, why this happened was because of the number one problem that we have today in this world, which is poor emotional management. I believe that poor emotional management is what's holding this world back from its positive development today. And once the world realizes this and acts on it, what we will spark will be the biggest impact this world has ever seen. What I will be going over today is why poor emotional management is far more important than what everyone else thinks. And how does that look like in today's world? And what can we do today to influence that movement of start controlling your emotions? Yes, of course. So, Top Doctors organization states that if people that are emotionally dysregulated show actions that don't match with their society. So that means is basically people that can't control their emotions are below the moral behavior in any society. So how does it look like? So, true life story right here. My brother was incarcerated for 7 years. His cellmate is doing life in prison right now. He's doing life in prison right now because he accidentally killed someone during a fight. Think about it. These two individuals lost both of their lives. They will not be able to have children no more. These two men and the future kids that they could have had could have been a major contribution to society. Think about it. These kids, they could have been the next innovators. This could have been the next Elon Musk, the next Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, etc. But now this is not possible. Why? Because both of them could not control their emotions at first. And look where it led them to. And this is only one altercation out of the millions that we're not witnesses of. Okay, so how does it look like in our careers now? So in our careers, I was a assistant manager for Pan Express for 4 years. It was my job to enforce policies and correct bad habits when needed to with my associates. And 100% of the time, whenever I did this, my associates would always, they'll catch it as a bad vibe. Meaning that whenever I did it, they reacted very emotional by yelling at me or them reprimanding me. So imagine as a professor, you're teaching your students because you want the best for them. But they respond back and yell at you, but you want the best for them. But then they don't see that and they react very emotional. How would you react? So according to Apollo Technical, 3 to 4 million people resigned their jobs because of a feeling of underappreciation. I don't believe in it's an appreciation. I believe it's just them reacting very emotional. Now, let me put this knife down. Now, why is poor emotional management the contributor to all the serious crimes committed in the world today? Now, according to EDW, 80% of all school shooters share that they're going through an emotional crisis before the crisis of what happened. So, let's say if they had that emotional crisis, but they had that strong emotional control, so many kids' lives would have been spared right now. And out of the 50 school shootings that this country has witnessed, I believe that we would have had so much life spared and so many kids could have been major contributions to society as well. According to the Insider, about all serial killers have a similar common trait. And this is poor behavior control. Meaning that if they had strong behavior control, they would have never been a serial killer in the first place. So imagine, so many lives are being lost today in this world because of one individual's poor emotional control. And this is not just when it comes to murdering. Think about every time someone's being having a bad day and they react very emotional, they're not only just murdering people's lives. This is not just murdering, it's causing other people to have bad days as well. And when someone has a bad day, how do we react? We act very emotional as well. So we start passing on. It's like a hot potato. We give someone the frustration based on how their frustration, and sometimes it may lead to fatality. What if we give someone a bad day, and because of their bad day, they're having a bad day, they start showing their emotions, they start driving all crazy, they get in a car crash, and what happens? Someone loses their life. So this is why I believe it's very important that we start learning how to control each other's emotions. Now, what can we do in the world today to start influencing people to stop people reacting emotionally? Well, APA claims that they have the best strategy, and the best strategy is to stop, reflect, and think before you react. And ask yourself, is this going to be an emotional reaction or a logical reaction? Now, it's very simple. How does that look like? How does an emotional reaction look like, and how does a logical reaction look like? So obviously, the emotional reaction is going to be the bad one, right? Because this what's going to do is just cause emotions to spike even higher, leading to a physical fight, a physical altercation. And that's what we want to prevent. So you can think about it how you would want to think. Like, if you can adapt it to any situation, someone calls that you're fat, and someone tells me I'm fat, stop and think, you know what, is this person right with what he's saying? Yes, he is, but it's not adding any value. So what I do is respond logically. Thank you. Have a great day. Walk away. That's the best logical response we can give. Now, who's an example of a person that has very strong emotional control? And that person I want to use for this example is Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in a prison for something that he never done. Think about it. Nelson Mandela has every right to be as frustrated as much as he can. But what did he choose to do with all that energy and emotion? He chose to indulge himself with so much knowledge and wisdom, so that when he comes out, he makes a really big impact for the world. And that's exactly what he did. Think about it. If he never had acted in such manner, we would have never even known about him. You know what he could have done? He could have, once he'd been released, he could have influenced so much riots, so much, he could have wreaked havoc among so much people, but he chose not to. He chose to use that energy. He didn't emotionally react. He logically reacted. And look what he did. A very great example of a person that's very well controlling their emotions. You know, I want you to visualize, not just with Nelson Mandela, but imagine so many other people. The whole world, a world where no one reacts emotionally and everyone reacts logically. How much lives we would spare, how much lives would be standing today, how much innovators we'll have today, developers, builders. We would have a world, well, we would have a well-thriving society amongst the whole world. We'll have hundreds of Elon Musk, we'll have hundreds of professors, excellent professors. And this just not goes by in certain niches, this goes by for all niches. Thank you. Have a great day.